This is my story of breast implants, breast implant illness, and my journey to healing. Hi everyone. So I wanted to do a video just kind of explaining my story of having breast implants, breast implant illness, and then my explant. And I will start from the beginning, which was in 2004. It was October 24th. I decided to get a breast augmentation. I had just turned 24 years old, and I had knew for quite a few years that I wanted to get bigger boobs. I was surrounded by women who had, big, beautiful boobs, and I wanted them too. I was barely an A, and I just didn't feel womanly. I didn't feel sexy, and I felt like having bigger boobs would help my self-esteem. And so I was set on it. I had, searched and researched lots of doctors, before and after pictures, and I found the doctor that I used. I went to my consultation, and I told him that I wanted to be as big as he could take me. I laugh about that now because be careful what you wish for. But I remember at the time him telling me that he didn't think he could get me any bigger than a full B, a small C, because I'm so small around. I'm only 32 inches around. So he didn't seem very hopeful that he would get me any bigger than that. But at the time I was like, whatever, it's bigger than I am now, so let's just do it. And a week later, I had my implant surgery. I remember waking up and I could barely breathe. It was really, really hard to catch a breath. I was in a ton of pain. And I remember them telling me it's normal. You have these implants that are on your chest now. It'll just take you getting used to them, but you're fine. I remember kind of taking a peek, and they were just huge. He got me to a full D, and I had to wear a cardboard spacer in between the two breasts to keep them apart because they were so big, and my rib cage is small. So I believe I had to wear that for about a week or two. And for the first 3 weeks after surgery, it was horrible. It was excruciating pain. I couldn't do anything on my own. Thank God I had my mom to help me, because I don't know what I would have done. But I remember at the three week mark, asking my mom, like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Like, are they gonna look okay? They're huge. I'm swollen to my collarbone. And I remember her telling me now that they looked like I had just shoved Kleenex boxes in my shirt. They were so square. But she was like, well, let's just try on some bras, and maybe that'll help. And it did. I was able to kind of see what they would look like in a bra. And the doctor had said it would take a full year probably for them to settle and the swelling to go down and for them to look normal. And it did. Within that year, I remember some internal stitches kept kind of poking out that I would have to pull out, which was really, really gross. But I mean, they looked really, really nice. I got implants for myself, no other reason. But a lot of people didn't know I got them. I covered them most of the time. The only time you could tell that I had implants was in a bathing suit. I never showed them off. I didn't wear shirts that showed them off. So most people didn't know I had them, but I was happy with how they looked, and I just kind of, it was harder finding bras. I thought it would be easier in bathing suits, but it wasn't. But as I asked for this, I wanted the big boobs, so I have them now. So fast forward to 2010, I started getting pain in my left breast, and it was like a dull, achy pain. And I went and got ultrasounds, and everything was normal. It was just let's follow up every 6 months with an ultrasound. So for the next 3 years, that's what I did. Ultrasound still showed nothing was wrong. The pain would still come and go, but I just kind of chalked it up to I played volleyball about 5-6 nights a week, and I was working out a lot. So I just figured I was just using that muscle, more than I had before. 2013, I had my daughter, and I was not able to breastfeed. My milk did come in, but it would not come out. And my only theory for that was because my implant incision was through the areola, and I feel like maybe my milk ducts got damaged during that process. I don't know. That's just my theory on it. But for whatever reason, I wasn't able to breastfeed. But, pain was still there, here and there. As she got older and, bigger, heavier, the pain would show up more often. Things like pushing her in her stroller, putting her in her car seat, that kind of thing would irritate it. And by 2017, I went back to work to do hair. And about a month into doing it, the pain was there and frequent and just wasn't letting up. So at that time, I had to stop doing hair, and even things like, pushing my daughter in the stroller, mowing the lawn, pushing her in a swing, putting her in her car seat, just everyday life things were really irritating and causing a lot of pain. So I went back to the doctor, and we had more ultrasounds done. This time we had an MRI done, and everything was normal. There were no ruptures, no leaks. Everything was fine. Nothing. It was fine. He said that it could be costochondritis, which is inflammation. So, you can take this pill and it'll probably help it. Well, I'm not one to take medication, so that wasn't something that I was going to do. I just kind of dealt with the pain. And then also in 2017, I started noticing that I was just getting really, really tired more frequently. I didn't have a lot of energy to do things. My memory started slipping. I was forgetting things. I couldn't remember things from the past. And my brain was like really, really foggy. I started having vision problems where it felt like I had Vaseline in my eyes and I couldn't clear it out. I remember my husband telling me, like, gosh, you blink a lot. Like, why are you blinking so fast and so much? And I think it's just to try to clear that out of my eyes. And I would go to the eye doctor. Nothing's wrong with your eyes. Your eyes are good. You can use some eye drops if you want. It may help, it may not, but your eyes are good. Okay, well, so as this was 2017, so up till 2019, I'm still dealing with all these things, and now I'm adding frequent headaches. I remember last summer, my daughter and I, we loved to lay out in the grass and look up at the sky, and we'd look at the clouds and, see what shapes we saw. And last summer I couldn't do that because I was so extremely dizzy. I was just spinning and spinning and spinning. And it was heartbreaking because we loved doing that, and I couldn't do it. And my exhaustion became more intense. My memory loss was more intense. I was really, really forgetful on a lot of things, and I had really bad brain fog. And still having the pain. And at this point, I'm just it is what it is. I'm a mom. I'm getting older. Like, this is just parent life. But then it was like, okay, this exhaustion is so bad. I'm getting 8 hours of sleep at night, and I wake up in the morning exhausted. Like, I didn't have the energy to get up and get going about my day. It was a really, really bad struggle. I always had this heavy, heavy weight of exhaustion on me. And it became, my memory and my brain fog became so bad that I didn't want or couldn't have conversations with people because I couldn't form the sentences. I couldn't think of what I wanted to say, or I couldn't get it out. And it became an insecurity of mine. I didn't want to be around people. And anyone that knows me, I love my family. I love my friends. I love entertaining. I love being around people. I love meeting new people. And that was just like, I couldn't do it anymore. I didn't want to be around people. Because I had all these things going on, and although those around me couldn't tell or didn't know, I felt like they could, and I felt like they knew something was wrong. And I was 37 at the time, and my body felt like I was 80 years old. And I would say I'm a mom. I'm tired because I'm a mom. I have brain fog because I'm a mom, but I have one child. I'm not running around ragged with, lots of kids and running to this, that, and this, for them. And so I shouldn't have been as exhausted as I was. And this year in January, I tried to go back to work again doing hair, and again within a month, the pain was excruciating and it wasn't letting up. And I would be at the salon, and I'd work my day, and I'd come home and I'd have to like ice my chest, or take Motrin, or use a heating pad, or just to try to get the pain to go away. And it was to the point where, like, okay, something's wrong. I can't live a normal life. I can't function normally. Like, what is going on? I know there's something wrong. And also at the same time, my daughter, she loves taking pictures. You never know what she's taking a picture of or when she took it. She just randomly takes these pictures, and she was showing me over the months photos that she had taken. And although I was with her in every picture, I was either sitting down or laying down. And that was just devastating to me, because that's not who I am. That's not the type of mom I am or want to be. I want to be involved in doing things, and I enjoy that. And I wasn't as present as I wanted to be. And at the same time also, I was introduced to, sorry, that's my dog, this Facebook page called Breast Implant Illness and Healing by Nicole. And, this sweet, sweet friend of mine said, just read through it. Maybe it'll help you, maybe it won't. So she added me to the group, and I was literally mind blown. I could not believe, I spent days and days reading these women's stories, and they were my story. Like, these women were telling the same thing that I was going through, the same symptoms, the same feelings. And at that moment, I finally didn't feel alone. I felt like, oh my gosh, like, these women get it. I was reading their before and after stories, and looking through all the pictures, and I just knew at that moment, oh my gosh, I have breast implant illness. I knew at that moment, like, I finally had my answers, and I wasn't afraid anymore. Like, I knew that there was light at the end of the tunnel, and I had to get them out. And then once I knew that this was what was going on, it was just like playing this mind game with me. Like, I knew my implants had to come out, and I couldn't get them out fast enough. So the very next week, I scheduled an appointment with my plastic surgeon that put my implants in, and we went and met with him, and he basically was telling me that breast implant illness isn't a thing. It's just something that's on the internet. You're fine. We will just take your implants out. You've got your money's worth. We'll put new ones in. And he had said that your body forms a capsule around the implant, and he said that mine was at a level 3. They grade it 1 to 4, and he said that because my body had already developed that it would probably do it again. So after we replace these, I would just have to do an injection and a medication protocol for the next however many years, along with replacing them every 10 years. And I was just at that moment, I'm not doing this. I'm 37 years old. I just knew that they had to come out. He also told me that if I didn't replace my implants, that I would have saggy sock boobs. And he was showing me all these before pictures of women, their breasts before getting implants, and that mine would look like that. And, I was just like, he's not the doctor for me that's going to take these out. So I started researching more doctors, and a doctor was recommended to me. So I made a consultation with her. And this was at the beginning. I was able to get in with her at the beginning of April. And I didn't mention BII to her because I honestly didn't care if she believed in it or not. As long as she was willing to properly remove my implants, which is a total capsulectomy, then I was okay with her doing it. She was fine with that. She said she would do whatever I wanted as long as it was medically safe. And I just knew, like, okay, this is it. I'm doing it. So that day I scheduled my explant surgery, and that was 3 weeks later. And in that 3-week period, I had so much energy. I was cleaning the house from top to bottom. I was organizing pantries and drawers, and I had so much energy that I had not had in years. And I remember my husband asking me, like, are you nesting? Like, what is going on? But I feel like it was because my mind finally knew what was wrong with me. I didn't have to keep searching for answers. I wasn't doing any more tests that were going to be normal. And I could just shut my brain off. I could just focus on healing, honestly. And leading up to my explant surgery, I was mentally focused and prepared. I was in a really, really good mental headspace. I had, still spent time on, this Facebook page, and there's so many of these women who are bedridden and feel like they're dying, and they don't have the finances to get an explant. Insurance will not cover it. And I just felt so bad for them. Like, I knew that my surgery was coming, and I had the light at the end of the tunnel, and they didn't, and that was heartbreaking for me. I remember somebody had made a post asking who was explanting in April, and this closed group had close to 80,000 people, and the response just to that post was almost 600 people explanting in April. And that's just people who had commented. I'm sure there were thousands of women that didn't comment that were still explanting. But it's just like mind-blowing to me. I had seen so many before and after pictures. And, some were good, some were not good right from the beginning, but they healed over time, and they were fine. But the common thing between every woman in that group that had explanted was that they felt so much better. And, the theory behind that is, you're putting these implants in your body, which is a foreign object. And our bodies don't like foreign objects. They want them out of us. So it kicks our autoimmune system into overdrive to fight this, to try to get them out. They're never going to get them out until they're removed. So your body's just constantly fighting, which is causing all these autoimmune triggers, the autoimmune disease, the fatigue, the memory loss, the brain fog, the headaches, the dizziness, the pain. It's just, your body's inflamed. And it all made sense finally. And so my surgery was on April 30th. It was, we had to be to the hospital at 8. My surgery was an hour and a half long. She did have to remove the capsule. And it was very, very important to me that my implant came out whole. I didn't want it ruptured inside of me. And so she removed the implants, removed the capsule around it. She had to cauterize. I'm sorry if you can hear that noise as I talk. She had to cauterize my ribs. They had attached to my rib cage. And then she had to sew my muscle back down because I had 375 cc smooth saline under the muscle. So she sewed the muscle back down. My incision was under, like in the crease. And then you have drains coming out your sides. Some doctors don't use them, most do, but some don't. And it's to remove the excess fluid that builds up in the pocket where your implant used to be. I remember waking up and I felt some burning, but nothing terrible. The burning was coming from the drains. And I remember feeling awake. I felt aware, and I just felt happy. I felt really, really good. I only took Tylenol, and that was for the discomfort of the drains. I've never felt any of my lower incisions. I've never felt any discomfort there. I had my drains for 6 days, and honestly, for me, that was the worst part. They were held on by a stitch, and every move I made, they would move with it, which was really uncomfortable. I had to sleep sitting up for those 6 days. And then just the thought of having these drains hanging out of my skin was just really eerie to me. I didn't like that. And then getting them out, I had more anxiety and nerves about getting my drains out than I did surgery. Going into surgery, I was just calm, clear-headed, and I was ready for it. But getting these drains out, I was not. And it was about 30 seconds on each side to remove them. It was really, really painful for me. It was like a burning, tugging feeling. But as soon as they were out, the pain was gone. It was instant relief. I could move my arms again. And from that day, I started driving, and then I could kind of get back to like normal day routine. I didn't have a lift. I just had a total capsulectomy, and I am extremely happy with my results. I actually love them more now than I did ever, and I am healing nicely. This recovery has been a breeze, and I woke up. I have not had any coffee since surgery, the day before surgery, and I used to have it morning and night just to get through the day. I used to love to make big dinners, and prior to Explant there, I had no energy. I just kind of would make something quick and simple, and now I'm back to making my big meals again. I've not had a headache since surgery. I have not had any dizziness. I've not had the blurred vision in my eyes. I've not had any of that heavy exhaustion feeling. I've actually had so much energy, I don't know what to do with it. And right now I'm on the 3-week restriction, so I can't lift over 10 pounds, and I can't do like housework and stuff. So 1 more week and I'll be back at that. My memory is so much better. The brain fog is gone. I just feel really, really good. I'm excited that I feel back to my normal self, and I'm happy I was able to do it, and I'm glad that I'm on the road to recovery. So I was actually given my implants back, and I wanted to show you guys what they look like. So these are my implants. They are saline, 320 cc's, but they were filled to 375. They are no longer clear. And if you can see this like build up on here, it's because they were attaching to my ribs. These valves here on the inside, I don't know if you can see, but they are black. There's things floating in them. They're really, really heavy. I look at them and I see that, like, what's floating in them, and I can't believe I put these in my body. Also, another reason why it was so important that these were taken out whole and not ruptured inside of me. So many women have had theirs be green, black. A lot of women with saline implants, their capsule that forms around is so thick that when they go to explant, the implant itself is just mush inside there, and they had no idea. And so if it wasn't removed completely whole inside the capsule, that would have just went into their body. So it's so important to have it done properly. If you don't remove the whole capsule, all those toxins are going to stay in your body, and you're still going to be dealing with the BII symptoms. So it's extremely, extremely important. In February of this year, the FDA had a 2-day meeting on breast implants, and Europe and Canada have both banned the textured silicone implants because they are linked to causing an autoimmune cancer, which is now finally being publicly talked about. And they're making steps to have doctors inform their patients on the risks of implants, the protocol that you have to do. If someone were to have told me that every 2 years I had to have an MRI to follow my implants, every 10 years I had to have them replaced, if they were to have given me the insert of all the symptoms that could come about, I never would have put these in my body. I don't feel like a lot of women know all the risks, and I think it's so important that now they're finally going to start taking steps to make women aware, track their progress, track their symptoms, and listen to women when they're saying, like, this is going on with me. It's so important to get the word out, and I'm so excited that I'm on the other side of this. I feel amazing. I want to share my story. I pray that it helps other women. If you know somebody who has implants or are thinking about getting implants, please share my story. Reach out to me. I am happy to help any way I can. And I look forward to being able to enjoy my life with my family and, you know, not be exhausted and, you know, not be able to have conversations with people. Just last week, a good friend of mine and I were talking, and she said, it's like night and day talking to me now than just a month ago. She said, you know, before I was really spacey and I was just kind of off in la la land, and now I can sit and interact and be present and have conversations. So that's really exciting to me. Also, it's so important to have a good support system. I know I drove those around me nuts talking about it all the time, but it was important to me. And, you know, all the women in this group were so supportive. I hearing their stories helped me. And so I hope my story does the same. I am now 2 weeks post-op and feel amazing. I love myself more now than I did before, and I'm excited about that because I can teach my daughter, who's 5, to love herself the way she was made, and really, really mean it. So I am excited. I will do another video probably at my month post-op and, you know, share how I'm doing. But right now I'm doing amazing. The heal is real. You're not alone. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and stay strong. You will get through this. There's hundreds of thousands of women that are going through the same thing. And it's a journey that we're all on together. And I hope that, I hope that if this is you, that you get the help and my cat, and are able to heal. So thank you guys so much for the support. Thank you for sharing my story. And again, if you have any questions, please reach out. And I hope you guys all have an amazing day. Thanks.